This is your host, Nick Riley, and you're listening to the One Day Advice podcast. Together, we're going to take a ride inside the world of personal finance. I'm going to give you a fully transparent, behind-the-scenes look into the financial services industry, helping you to optimize your financial life along the way. So in today's episode, I'm going to be talking with Rohit from Kubera.com. Rohit has he is the founder and CEO of Kubera.com. It's a modern spreadsheet-style net worth tracker that allows you to automatically track both traditional and crypto portfolios. I personally use their application and also provide my clients access so that they can have an in-depth understanding of how their assets are allocated and gets me up to speed with their portfolios. And for me, Kubera just helps me and my clients get organized around their finances and contributes towards more financial clarity, which I see as the first step towards kind of achieving financial freedom. So Kubera, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you can provide the listeners some context into what you were doing prior to Kubera, what made you start Kubera?
Right. So I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I had a brief stint as a senior executive in one of the largest fintech companies in India called Tally. But apart from that, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. The founding story of Kubera is that we had two exits in 2018. One was a database tools company, another was an email app company. And after those exits, we were kind of looking for the next gig or trying to take some time off. And for the first time in our lives, we had liquid wealth. Before that, all our wealth was private shares in our startups. So as we got liquid wealth, we started diversifying. Apart from the regular stock, bonds, and real estate. We dabbled with crypto, with DeFi, took some LP positions in funds, hedge funds, made some angel investments, and then also started playing with a lot of fintech products. Just like there were so many, there was an explosion of fintech products. Like you put in some money in Robinhood, try Econs, try Revolut, and soon things were getting like a bit unwieldy, and added to our anxiety. And the funny thing about money is that it does not matter what is the amount of money, but if you start losing track of money and you start kind of getting that feeling that you're going to lose it, even if it is $50 or $100, you don't feel good about it, and things were started to getting a little bit complicated. So I started putting everything on a Google spreadsheet just to kind of get an idea of where were we going and all this, where the money is. And then suddenly I realized that most of this Google spreadsheet can be automated. And separately, in an event, in a like an unrelated event, I was caught in a riptide in Costa Rica. And as I was getting rescued, I had this like weird feeling, like if something happens to me, my family does not know where everything is, especially crypto wallets and things like that. And I have given them no instructions where the spreadsheet is and things like that. And I'm not even sure whether I've put everything diligently in the spreadsheet. So those two events kind of made sense. And um, and some of my old team members also wanted to do a new startup, and we all came together and try to solve the problem that we all of us had, which is we had a spreadsheet and we thought that a lot of this can be automated. And that's kind of the founding story of Kubera.
Yeah, and I think you highlight a great point. Just getting stuck in a riptide, it makes everyone think. With the households that I work with, it tends to be one of the spouses kind of controls the finances, and the other one might be left in the dark. And if something happens to them, one of the features inside Kubera that I love is being able to turn on and provide access to the spouse if anything were to happen, emergency access. I think one of the, especially in the crypto space, is you've got your secret passphrases, you've got wallets spread around, you might be contributing to various liquidity pools and participating in DeFi. Well, what happens if you lose your life or you become in the hospital bed, you can't communicate. How do your loved ones be able to take over those accounts and understand your financial health? And that's where Kubera really jumps in. So I love that story.
Yes, yes. And I have a couple of follow-up points to that. Not only it's not people think it's only crypto, and someone who's not even started with crypto, but life like 10 years ago was very simple. You had stocks, bonds, and real estate, and that was it. And your financial advisor knew everything about your personal life. So you had this third party who knew everything, and then you had this confidence that is somewhere something to happen to you, your family is taken care of. But now we all kind of dabble with fintech, and we don't like always keep our financial advisors up to date with what we are trying to do. It's so easy to open up an online account and transfer some money and play with it, right? So that is number one. Number two is I want to make it very clear that Kubera, because you use the word private keys and secret phrases, Kubera is not the place to store your private keys and secret phrases. That you should like. Kubera is not end to end encrypted, and I don't want to get a bit technical.
Yeah.
Uh, but you should store that in your typical LastPass or one password, or if private keys you should store, only write it down and store it in a safe. But the fact that Kubera gives you everything in a structured format, so your family at least knows that all of this wealth belongs to us, and they get everything in a structured format. And Kubera can have further instructions like, if you want to kind of access this wallet, do X, Y, and Z. So we kind of encourage people to put everything in a structured format, so the information is transmitted to your family. But this is not the right place to kind of hand over your private keys and secret phase and things like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. No, great clarification too. And to that point, you guys have really essentially read-only access to all of these different accounts. You're using larger integrators like Plaid and Yodlee, and as well as kind of creating your own integrations with various APIs. And so I've been very impressed with the integrations that you guys have been able to build. But definitely a key point to not have any passwords, secret passphrases, private keys in there.
Hmm.
And the other point you made too around not just crypto and just being able to track real estate assets, debts. I noticed when connecting your credit card accounts, it allows you to see your remaining credit limit depending on the account that you're connecting and everything too. So when you are planning around your finances, being able to really separate your cash and cash equivalents from your investment accounts to your crypto. Maybe you have other business income. Being able to delineate a lot of that is super helpful in kind of gaining that clarity around your finances.
Totally.
And so I don't know if you're willing to share. You mentioned kind of dabbling in crypto, and that being a factor in wanting to create a dashboard that allows you to see everything in one place. Uh, do you and your team, Kubera, kind of have a stance on crypto as an allocation in a portfolio, or any high level thoughts to where you see crypto going?
I mean, we are a big believer of crypto personally, and obviously we are seeing um, Kubera usage, a lot of like crypto adoption. So we have some kind of live data analytics that helps us. Although Kubera is privacy focused, so we kind of don't look at personalized data, but on an aggregate, we always see more and more crypto usage growing. Personally, I am invested in most of my crypto investments are in blue chips, like what we call L1, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Terra. That's where kind of bulk of my money is, because I have a full-time day job, which is the CEO of Kubera, and it is not possible for me to uh, generate. It's not possible for me to kind of, always try to find out the best yield generating opportunities in DeFi and so. And that's the advice I give to most people. Find a friend who can do it for you, and give them their 220 or whatever that means. And so personally, I kind of keep it on the blue. And but everyone is a kind of a degenerate. Some amount also we kind of try out some of these high yield opportunities, and all this crazy project that spring up every once in a while. But I think that's kind of, if that is that if you're going to do if you're looking for the best yield and generating opportunities, you should be like a full-time person doing that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my personal take of how I would kind of dabble with crypto.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's a helpful input there as well. Uh, One thing that I think I would like to understand, and listeners, as far as being able to, for my clients using the your guys' portal and your application, what are some things on the roadmap for Kubera? Where do you see Kubera going over the next few years?
So all these years, like last couple of years, we have really focused on building the best connectivity in the industry. So typically, all similar software, they would work with one aggregator, and we have found out that working with aggregator does not give you the best connectivity. So we have from day one signed up with multiple aggregators, and then we, based on the institution that you want to connect to, we connect to the best aggregator that that connects to that particular institution. So we are focused on connectivity, because without connectivity, without you automatically importing all that data into Kubera, there's no point in trying to manually enter. So we've tried to bring in the best connectivity. Now that we are able to import all that data, we are going to do all kinds of powerful reporting and dashboards and stuff like that. So that's kind of the next phase of the company, is to give very, very powerful customized dashboard, things that you get only as part of very expensive family office management software. We kind of want to democratize it and give it to everyone for like a simple SaaS subscription. And
Yeah.
by the way, not nothing against you, by the way, all this will be available in a very consumer grade interface, so you don't need an advisor to kind of handhold you. And I think that is a very healthy model, that you should give very powerful tools to the consumer, and the advisors should be involved in like making very high level decisions, some like behavioral investments, and all those high level decisions, but not kind of do all the grunt work of sending you reports.
Yeah.
So reporting, very powerful reporting, is the next is going to take up in next few quarters.
Okay. No, that's great. And I think being able to provide read-only access. So if you are a direct consumer, going through Kubera directly, being able to provide read-only access to your advisor, to your CPA,
Mhm.
being able to give them a high-level overview of your financial situation. I do work with various clients in the past that have used personal capital, for instance. And personal capital, you can't really provide that type of access. They keep it all internally. And the
Mhm.
beauty of your guys' platform is to be able to provide access to those that need it, whether that's a spouse for read only access, a financial advisor, a CPA. I think that is really helpful.
Yes. No, you bring up a very good point, Nick. So people ask us, what is the difference between personal capital and Kubera, and why is personal capital free and Kubera is paid? So of course, I mean, Kubera, I'm biased, but Kubera is much more feature rich, especially in terms of like crypto and digital assets and where the world is headed towards. But even then, even for stock, bonds, and crypto, uh, Kubera's business is not to try to sell you any financial product. Okay. And that has two benefits, is that, then it is more secure by design, because less set of eyes are looking at your data. We don't need to look at your data, because we don't care, whether you are worth $10 million or $100,000 net worth, and we don't care about our asset allocation. That's your business. So Kubera is a clean SaaS solution. So you pay us money, for using the software. We don't try to sell you financial products. So I think that allows us to provide you a cleaner interface. There's no annoying pop-ups, there's no advertisement and things like that. So that is a primary difference between most other portfolio tracking software. They're always trying to sell you something else, and Kubera. And I think we are one of the very few solutions which have taken this approach and will continue to take this approach. Although it's kind of because we track like $15 billion, sometimes we get offers from partners who want to sell financial products to our customers because we have 360-degree overview. But I think that's going to be the business model. A privacy focused premium solution is going to be the business model for Kubera for a very long time.
Yeah, no, that's great, and just the customization aspect of Kubera, you're not pigeonholing, clients or consumers into defined asset classes. You
Hmm.
guys have a spreadsheet style where you can create sheets. You can name those however you want. I
Hmm.
know for my clients, I have crypto sheet, I have an investment sheet, I have a retirement accounts sheet, and then I cash equivalents, I have business. There's all these different sheets and sections internally that then
Hmm.
you then go ahead and provide these custom reports around that are based on the sheets that you are creating. And that's something that no other tool that I've seen out there be able to do. And like a personal capital, I know plenty of people, and I've subscribed to personal capital just for myself as well. And I get bombarded with phone calls and them pitching their services. And similar to mint.com for budgeting, mint.com's owned by Intuit. They're selling their data, they're monetizing that data, and also pitching you credit cards, lines of credit, investment accounts. Whereas someone like Tiller Money, which I've used, which is also spreadsheet style for more transaction focused and budget focused, they also charge like an annual type fee and subscription, but they don't sell your data. They're not selling any other products beyond that. So I love that approach because I think you guys will be able to continue to scale that and be able to gain further market share too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Tiller Money is a great product which kind of complements Kubera. We have no plans to kind of get into budgeting and expense management. So if you're using Tiller Money and Kubera, you have actually made very smart choices. And
Yeah.
I think your financial life is like completely covered by these two pieces of software.
Well, it's great too, where I tend to work with either engineers, developers, or maybe people in sales and high level executives. So some people will like just a high level overview of how Kubera or Tiller provides animations or illustrations of how everything's allocated, and then you have the developers and the engineers that want to export to their own spreadsheet and do customization around that. And
Mhm.
the beauty of Kubera is that you do provide the access to be able to export to a CSV and you make any changes. So if you are a spreadsheet junkie, being able to do that is really helpful and kind of fun.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Well, Rohit, thank you so much for being on the show. I want to end with one question for you. It's not a financial question. It's just more about what's important to you in your life. And one thing I like to ask people is if you had one day to do whatever you wanted to, and money was not an object, it wasn't a problem to get, what would you end up doing for that one day?
No, that's a great question. Yes, if I had one day and my calendar was completely clear, hmm, I think I'll probably start calling, school friends and old friends, like randomly go to Facebook and
Yeah.
like have, see where are they doing, try to, if I can get their contact info, if already not on my phone, and things like that, and randomly call them and, kind of surprise them and try to
Yeah.
catch up.
I
Yeah,
love that.
that
Yeah.
that that would be something great. Now that you have asked this question, I think that I should set aside a day to do that.
It's easy to get into like just a day-to-day routine. I mean, I'm sure you show up to the office and you have this vision
Correct.
for Kubera, and I'm the same way. I love
Correct.
to stay in touch with people that I haven't seen for a long time, or even acquaintances that I met while traveling. So I love that answer to that question.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you, Rohit, for being on the show. And for your listeners, remember to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick Riley, the founder of One Day Advice. If you like what you've heard, we'd greatly appreciate your help in spreading the word. After all, we are financial educators, not marketers. Thanks for listening, and remember to leave us a review.
Nick Riley is the founder of One Day Advice, an independent fiduciary and fee-only registered investment advisor. Nick serves as a wealth advisor and educator to his clients. All opinions expressed by Nick and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of One Day Advice. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment or financial decisions.